how the piece is constructed is that it's very much improvised. I built a playground for these musicians to play around in, and they can kind of play around in it however they wanted. And that's helpful for a lot of reasons, but also it makes it a lot easier to put together in the rehearsal process. But it can be a little bit daunting at first, so I went in both to the Austin Soundwaves peeps and to Panoramic Voices to kind of help guide them in their process.
My name is Patrick Slevin. I'm the director of the Austin Soundwaves program. And my job in this project was to sort of connect the young musicians we work with to In Bloom. So we really wanted to do a project that would combine professional musicians with youth musicians. And so I represent the group of student performers who we saw at the Umlauf.
I'm Brent Baldwin, Artistic Director of Panoramic Voices, and we are a choral collective that really tries to hit as many points on the musical spectrum as possible, sort of a music without borders approach, meaning we have a classical background. That's kind of where the group started, but in my 10 years of directing the group, we've delved a lot into new music and into unique collaborations that a lot of choruses wouldn't touch.
Coming into the process, I knew with Patrick and Brent, I knew that we were going to have Austin Soundwave students, I knew we were going to have Panoramic Voices, and we knew that we were going to have the Umlauf Sculpture Garden, and it was going to be part of this family day. I mean, people kind of all about milling around hearing music. And so I knew from the very beginning that I wanted to take musicians and put them all around the park and kind of invite the audience to walk through the piece instead of just sitting and listening to it.
In Bloom as an experience is essentially, it's 5 different musical points, and each of those 5 musical points have individual scores that are happening, and within those groups, each group gets increasingly larger. Each group is performing material that is sonically related, but also very willfully different from in terms of how things occur in the time spectrum, how fast things are, how slow they are, how loud they are, how quiet they are, to just give a very unique texture that is going to be, here comes a sound from this direction, these folks over here doing something totally different, and yet totally different things within their own group. So from an audience perspective, you would just come up to the first station with a solo violin, and then there would be a few people at the next station, and then a larger group. And then my personal experience for the performance, I was with the last and largest group, bowing some sounds through effects on my guitar, and just kind of interacting with all of my instrumental and vocal friends.
So real central to Austin Soundwaves is collaborating with other musicians, other arts organizations, and also exposing our students to various career paths and performers. So, in that light, we've been talking to Brent Baldwin and the folks at Panoramic Voices for probably multiple years now, just vaguely about the idea of working together, of having singers and instrumentalists put on something. So that's how these conversations started. And also, let's see, about 3 years ago, Austin Soundwaves, we set on a journey to commission, produce, bring to life new works that would sort of use professional and student musicians in a meaningful way. So it's really important for us to bring students into the new music world and to give them the experience of playing music that's never been done before.
Patrick Slevin and I have been talking a bit over the past few years about finding a project that would be interesting to pull both of our groups together and take on collectively. And so we'd been working on what that would look like. And then somewhere along the line, I was talking with the Umlauf Sculpture Garden folks, and they seemed really keen on getting us in. And I talked with Patrick and said we should, maybe this is our project, and within this really beautiful and unique backdrop, and more than just a backdrop. I mean, it's a very interactive element in and of itself. And so we thought having a piece that is going to also be engaging and interactive with people, something that you walk through and experience from different points of view and from different aural perspectives and visual perspectives.
And since they're going to be singers, I knew that there's going to be text. So I talked to my friend Paola Caballero, who is an author, and I talked to her about kind of what I wanted to do with the piece and kind of what I was thinking about. And she put together this collection of haikus that she translated into Spanish, which I thought worked well because a lot of the students at Austin Soundwaves are native Spanish speakers. So I thought there was that kind of connection would be more meaningful to them. And they're very poetic. And so they used that as the students and the singers used the text as kind of a foundation for their improvisation.
I didn't really like improv, or I wasn't really comfortable with it until this year. I've really started experimenting more with it. And so like In Bloom was definitely something that pushed me out of my comfort zone. And so when we were there and performing with everyone else, especially like the choir or the singers, like I thought it was absolutely like amazing and beautiful how like even like an instrument and like when someone uses their voice, like it all comes together. It sounds very beautiful, and I don't know, it felt really good to hear and to be a part of.
Personally, I've never worked with like choir and like older musicians, so that was like a first time experience for me. But I felt like it was really great because like these older musicians didn't really see me as like a high school student. They saw me as like I was on their level because we loved making music. Like all of us loved making music. And getting to play, it like sounded really magical. All in all, I think we did really well, and like it was a lot of fun because we just got to improv and like make things up on the spot.
It was a real great pleasure working with Patrick and Brent and all of the students and all the Panoramic Voices. So nice to be able to make music on that big scale with all those people, all the moving parts. And it was really fun to experience. It's really, really special, and I was really happy to be a part of it.
So what was great about In Bloom and what James put together was that the parts were playable by musicians of different ability levels. So a lot of our musicians are more advanced, and just like the singers were, but some were just in their second or third year of playing, so they were still able to tackle the material, and it was left open enough that it really was left up to the performer, how complex or how to sort of adapt the music. So that's sort of how we presented it to the students. We worked on it in their normal classes, sort of working on general improvisation skills, and that was really fun and really good. But I think it wasn't until they're actually sort of on site at the Umlauf and doing it in real time that they see, oh, this is how this all goes together. And so it's kind of fun having that experience of knowing that it's going to lead to something great, but there's a lot of ambiguities along the way.
Austin Soundwaves is just an amazing program, and the kids in that program are doing fantastic things, and it was an honor to work with them. James is a brilliant composer, and it was a true pleasure for us to get to be involved in all these collaborators, and we as a collective get the most meaning out of musical experiences when we're bringing together different folks from different parts of the community and saying, this is our common cause, let's make some beautiful music.